one.
Thank you. I was just fixing Mithy's in-ear because the crowd is loud.
This is gonna fall.
It's always with you and the in-ear.
This is gonna fall for sure.
Let's blame it on the excitement. Well, yes. Fantastic cheers here for both Soaz and Mithy. Fantastic victory, so congratulations on that. Yet, when you guys stepped on the stage here, you were still discussing some of the phases of the game, because am I fair in assuming that you guys didn't have your best game? Soaz especially, up against Someday, it was pretty rough. Tell me how you lived the game and how you came back from that. He's gonna explain.
No, it was a lane swap, and they ended up pushing the top side, the tier 1, and they had a freeze on it. Kog'Maw went base, and they were waiting for Kog'Maw to come back, and we knew that they were waiting in our jungle, but we didn't expect them to go on Mithy. We expected to go on me and Mithy to give me the lantern, but we ended up both dying really early on, and Olaf got a kill, and he had like 20 CS lead. So after this first action happened really early on, I was really far behind already, so I was just trying to farming up, basically.
Same actually went for you, Mithy, having a hard time because they did focus you a couple of times early on. And you told me before the game that you're very excited to play because you felt that as support you could really have an influence in these games. How do you think you played it after that to bounce back from that moment?
Okay, so my role this game was to be a lantern bot and to split push. So I did my job well. I didn't need to hit a hook. Basically, if I hook, I'm in danger because I'm standing still when I'm hooking, so I shouldn't even hook. So I played my role well, to answer your question. And in terms of what happened was that they were playing very well around like vision, around darkness, right? And we didn't anticipate what they wanted to do, so they caught us off guard. But I think we counteracted and did some plays too to catch them off guard.
Well, especially that Baron play. Talk me through the call for that. It's a European special, so to say, but still very ballsy to pull off in this situation. Where did the call come from?
It was pretty much everyone started talking about Baron because we expected them to push as like 2 or 3, remember? Like 2 maximum, let's say, like their bot lane or something, so they could stop us at Baron. But they ended up showing like 4 members or some wards that we have in our jungle. So we decided to just TP and go for Baron. And they didn't even push bottom, they just tried to catch us, and in the end they didn't got anything, and we got the Baron.
I think they were, I mean, their game plan was to catch us off around like their priority and so on. So they were playing towards their game plan, but then Nash spawned, and they were kind of getting a bit stressed out with all our split push, because it's pretty annoying to play against. You can't really catch anyone because there's Thresh there to save people and so on. So I guess they just made a really bad decision to try and catch us on bottom when Nash was an option, and we just capitalized on it.
Capitalized on it, kept a cool head. Now #1 in the group, still with that win. What a victory that was. It's almost incredible to believe not just you guys, but a lot of the other LCS teams as well have incredibly stepped up. How are you guys going to specifically preserve this momentum you seem to have, knowing that this is only the group stage, and it's only the first round of the group stage?
To preserve, I'm not sure. We just need to keep the same communication, have ideas in game. Yeah, so sometimes it happens that we are not so talkative. And yeah, as long as we have ideas in game of what to do, and we have a clue of how to get an advantage or something like this, we should keep going.
The way I see it is game by game. We just play one game at a time and take it slow. And right now it's working out for us, so we should just keep doing the same thing.
Definitely. One final thing, the crowd was absolutely crazy already. Did you notice the wave going on? Did that distract you?
I noticed after the Baron, but beside the Baron, like before and after the game, beside that I didn't pay so much attention in game.
Okay, but they're pretty crazy. How much is that giving you the strength to fight back even when you were 0-4?
Just top laner are never lucky, you know. So.
Never lucky.
I think I honestly think it's good for us because I felt at least, or, I mean, I didn't see the wave because I can't really look at the crowd at that point, but I could hear them cheering for us a lot. And I guess, especially when we are ahead and the other team is behind, after being ahead, I guess that tilts them a bit. So I think being in Europe quite helps us a bit.
Well, you heard it, guys. Keep doing what you're doing, you guys. Congratulations, #1 in the group, OG, and I'd love to hear Des break that down.
Thank you, Shocks. OG, 3-0, undefeated.
West is best.
Halfway through the group stage. Calm down there, buddy. That was my favorite game so far.
It was a
tournament.
pretty stellar game.
What a great game.
Now, we spent a lot of time talking about the pick spans. I don't want to spend too much time talking on it here, but how do you gentlemen feel it played out since we thought there would be a lot of emphasis placed on it?
I feel like in a scenario where both teams have good drafts, usually it comes out even. I don't think the draft was what had the biggest impact in this matchup.
I wasn't a big fan of the blind pick of the Twisted Fate. I would have rather seen an Oriana there when we were talking about it during the draft phase. Now, I think the TF was played very well. I just found that dangerous because giving a counter pick to Nagne, he plays Echo, he plays Fizz, he plays Yasuo. He plays Diana. These are things that could have come out. It ended up that they went with the Echo, which is what I think he would have blind picked anyway, given the Azir ban. But I did think it carried just a little bit of risk.
I mean, with the way Pekka is playing, you could pick Teemo mid, and he was going to just be self-confident. There was so much confidence and just sidestepping cocoons, not even...
That was a beautiful play.
It was insane. Him and Niels just had such a massive CS lead, over 100 CS, and combined was maybe like 180 CS total. That's before the base was cracked, which boosts the numbers of CS for KT Rolster because they have to defend the base and obviously get more CS while Origen isn't. So just fantastic play overall by Origen with a lot of confidence.
Well, we talked about fantastic play on both teams, clean execution. Throughout the early game, we saw both teams recognizing openings, presenting themselves to the team, taking advantage of those things, using the double TPs on both sides. It was a lot about the trading of leads and trading of cooldowns for kills.
Yeah, and that's what's so great. I mean, when you see this game, you're looking at not only the blow for blow, and just look at the timing on both of those teleports coming in from KT. In terms of using the double TP, we saw this blow for blow action going on that was very exciting and very well executed by both teams. But what I like too is that KT, they were playing for kills, they were playing for picks. We saw Origen playing for pressure, playing for farm. So we got to see how these two different styles were really interacting with each other. And that's really what the best games of League are made of.
The cool thing was it felt almost like a turn-based game in which KT would make a play, and then Origen, then KT again, then Origen, back and forth, but the lead was always in Origen's favor because of the massive CS that they had gotten. Even though Arrow had a lot of kills, Neil still had a huge CS lead. By the time around 32 minutes, I think, Kog'Maw had a Trinity Force, Bork. That's when Sivir had Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, Last Whisper, and Bloodthirster. It doesn't matter what champion you are, you're not going to be able to outcarry with such an item disparity.
I have to add as well, the fact that XPK managed to survive so well in a matchup that is bad for him. Like, he basically blind picked the Twisted Fate, as you mentioned, and I feel like the matchup-wise, sure, it's in Echo's favor, but the fact that he managed to have pressure in a lane as Twisted Fate is what kept him in the game, in my opinion, because they were 0-2.
I don't agree with the Twisted Fate being such a bad matchup. Like, with Home Guard's Rush, with Teleport, he's so easy to lane with and just farm safely. Wild cards, red card the wave, it's really easy to actually have good CS, good lane pressure, and always keep the other guy pushed in. It's such a good champion that is hard to punish even if you're an assassin.
And it helps when you play him as well as XPK did. Two, I want to point out, Niels, I feel like the two of them are playing tremendously as carries for this team. But now I want to move us ahead to where the even game was won for Origen, the first Baron call that they made.
Well, it really wasn't an even game. Sure, the gold lead was even, but I think what was so great about Origen's call right there was they kind of had to make that because playing around objectives with KT scaling out of control, they had the superior scaling in the late game, and Someday was kind of getting a big lead over Soaz. So I think a bold call like that was necessary to hold them in it. If they didn't do it right then, KT should have probably won that game. But when that Baron call came through, remember, there was a wave at tier 2 in the bottom lane. KT had 4 people in the bottom side jungle. I think they may have been able to take an inhibitor in trade for that Baron, which would have been a better trade for KT. But they decided to run back just like they did against TSM, very similar play. They made it work against TSM. They were a day late and $1 short against Origen.
I have to add as well the fact that Origen actually spent a lot of time around that area, 3 minutes straight, from 20 minutes to 23, clearing wards. I think the play was kind of telegraphed, and sending Kog'Maw to the bottom lane, sure, they might have gotten the inhib, but I think it was a massive blunder to send the Kog'Maw there. I think someday should have been there, but very well punished by Origen.
Yep.
All right, well, with this game closing out Group D for the week, let's take a quick look at the standings. Origen stands undefeated in first place, KT behind them at 2-1, TSM at 1-2, and LGD at 0-3. Gentlemen, this is not the way we expected this group to play out.
It's refreshing.
It's very, very refreshing. You know, as we look forward, Shox asked them how do they expect to keep this momentum moving into week 2, given that all the teams have a little bit of time to assess each other's power level. Origen specifically, how are we looking at them to remain on their undefeated streak?
Just how Mithy said, keep doing what you're doing. And I think the interesting thing that they should really focus on is not show too much. At this point, with this level of play, they're almost guaranteed to make it out of groups, probably in first place as well. Don't show too much. Make sure that you go into the quarterfinals with a good draft and have a lot of things that you haven't shown yet to just catch your opponent off guard, how they've kept doing it throughout the group.
I'm actually
group stage.
looking forward to see how Origen plays in best of 5 specifically, because they've had these strategies that are good like once, and then you kind of have to figure it out in a way. For example, the Anivia and this Baron play, for example.
Well, they're going strong. We'll see if they can hold on. That's all the action from Group D for today, but it's on to Group B as the LPL's Invictus Gaming goes up against Westor and AHQ Esports Club in our next match. Keep it tuned right here because there's more Worlds 2015 when we return.
KT. Not quite SKT, but they're on the way.
Peekaboo pops his ulti. Mithy put out of position with Peke. Gonna try and make his way in. Mithy still alive. Now Sunday gonna chase him, but Nagna's here as well.
Oh, Peke is dead. Cocoon connects as well, and Score sinks the fangs in. Amazing. Body slams forwards, yells nope.
Now Peke gonna get vision. He needs to leave. He hits a Cocoon. Gets knocked down, but Nagna. No, he can't chase it.
Boost. Run.
Yes.
That's what good, actually.
Oh, just got arrow. What is he doing up there? Nail's caught, and that Nail's going back in. Gets a bit onto Nagna. What a sign is!
Origen will place first in Group D after taking down KT Rolster.